Alright class, in this lesson what's going to be happening is you're going to be given a formula and you're going to be asked to solve for a specific variable. Here it's asking us to solve for v. And we solve for v by doing a process of opposites of what all the other letters are doing to the v. Well, the v is actually doing something to these other letters right here. So to get v alone, we want to do the opposite of either these numbers or the v itself. And because the v is actually on the bottom, it would be best to do the opposite of what the v is doing mathematically to the other numbers. And the v is dividing from the other numbers. The opposite of dividing by v squared would be to multiply by v squared. So what we'd like to do to both sides is multiply by v squared. And what that does is it gets v out from underneath the bottom. That crosses out on the right hand side, and what if I do it to the right hand side? I now did it to the left hand side. So the equation is in balance. I have v squared times w equals kfr. So what I need to do next is notice that I've got a w next to the v squared. The w is multiplying by the v squared, so the opposite of multiplying by that is dividing by w. So now I've divided both sides by w, and v is almost alone. I've got v squared equals kfr over w, but I want v all the way alone. Right now it's got a square with it. So to get rid of a square, the opposite of squaring it is square rooting it. So I square root both sides, and I find that v is now alone. It's equal to, because the root and the square cancel, it's equal to the root of k f r all over w. And we're going to take a look at another problem where this time I've got a square root in my formula and I'm trying to get a by itself. So again, I'm working through a process of opposites, and I want to think through what are all the numbers doing to this a that I need to work through the opposites of those. Well, the first thing, we've got the square root. To get rid of that, you need to square both sides. And now the square and the square root cancel, and I'm left with d squared equals 4a over pi. Okay, well the next thing I'd like to do is get rid of the pi. I can't really get rid of the 4, well I can, but it's hard to get rid of the 4 without getting rid of the fraction first. And I get rid of the fraction by just simply multiplying both sides by pi. In other words, pi really over 1, but you don't really need to write that part, so pi, or pi over 1. And what that does is it causes the pi's to cancel on the right hand side, and now I'm left with pi times d squared equals 4a. So the last thing I have to do is just divide both sides by 4. And you get a equals, and it's probably better to write d squared times pi, it doesn't matter, but pi d squared or d squared pi over 4. Okay? So a is all alone, and so the process with these formula problems is that you just have to do the opposites to get the variable alone.